Welcome to Dr. Jan's Change Your Behavior, Change Your Life. If you are a new or existing parent or caregiver of a child diagnosed with autism, welcome to the podcasts. For the next 7 sessions, we'll be reading and discussing How to Slay Every Spectrum Day, an info novel written by Dr. Jan Crawford Williams, board-certified behavior analyst, licensed behavior analyst, and OBM specialist. Let's begin. Introduction. Kay was an active overachiever who graduated at the top of her IT college class. She worked for a growing telesales company in the IT department, making decent money for an entry-level professional. It wasn't where she wanted to be, but she was okay with it, knowing that she would someday achieve her goal of being the youngest Fortune 500 company owner and developer of a groundbreaking piece of technology that would change the world. She was fit, had the body of J-Lo, and was a 5K participant in the annual Greensboro Run for Fun event. She didn't eat meat, carbs, or processed food. Kay was adamant that she would do everything right to lengthen her days, engender a healthy environment for her future embryos, and be a hot wife for her future husband. Marcus was the lead specialist in Kay's department and was one of 3 on the interview panel that landed Kay the job at Tinks. In addition to her confidence, Marcus was instantly attracted to Kay's depth of knowledge, stunning beauty, and impressive physique. Marcus was also patently aware that fraternizing with lower-level employees was strictly forbidden and was grounds for instant termination. Marcus tried for months to keep things professional but couldn't get Kay off his mind. Kay, on the other hand, thought Marcus was interestingly attractive but eerily resembled the mystery figure that showed up in her most realistic, romantic, and exciting dreams. Knowing better than to entertain any thoughts of romance with senior staff, she shrugged off the crazy thoughts and thrust herself into becoming the best IT rep Tinks had ever seen. Kay liked Marcus. He was kind, not condescending like some of the other managers, and always made time to acknowledge her. Every morning when she arrived at the office, she would glance over to his glass-walled office to make sure he was there. As long as Marcus was there, she would feel confident and self-assured. But one cold January Monday, Kay glanced across and Marcus' office was empty. It turned out that Marcus had been offered a position at a rival company that he could not refuse. Kay was gutted, but knew she had to continue despite the void she now felt. One Friday evening after a killer day of IT victories, Kay sipped a glass of Grigio and scrolled through Netflix, searching to find something to watch. Her phone rang. Her caller ID didn't recognize the number, so she swiped ignore and continued scrolling. The phone rang again 2-3 times. Kay's curiosity got the better of her. She answered. A strange yet familiar voice greeted her. Hi Kay, this is Marcus. How are you? After spilling her wine on her white faux fur cushion and fixing her hair, which no one but her could see, she composed herself enough to answer. Marcus and Kay began dating and quickly realized that their love was real and forever. Kay learned that while Marcus' job offer was lucrative, it was not the only reason he decided to leave Tinks. He was in love with Kay and knew one day that he would ask her out. Everything beyond the first conversation was a blur to Kay. Kay and Marcus were married within a year of their first date. They had what they both believed was the perfect marriage. They were both fit, healthy, and hugely ambitious. They both wanted to change the world. However, Kay was 33 and her body clock was doing somersaults. The one thing that would complete this picture of perfection would be a baby. Marcus agreed. On July 17, 2012, Marcus Caden Morris Jr. was born. Kay was so proud that she had done everything right to provide the perfect incubator for the life growing inside her. Marcus Jr. was perfect. All 10 fingers and toes, beautiful thick curls. Mommy's curled eyelashes and dimples, daddy's nose and high cheekbones, skin color of lightly toasted marshmallows. Kay took a leave of absence from work for 9 months to focus on being the best mom she could be. She breastfed, made baby food from scratch, attended baby yoga, and kept up with all of Marcus Jr.'s health checks and vaccinations. When it was time to return to work, as heartbreaking as it was, Kay and Marcus were able to find a Steiner academy that also had a daycare. They took babies as young as 5 months old. Kay knew the director personally from college and trusted her with her son. Marcus Jr. was hitting milestones like a boss. He lifted his head early, crawled early, said mama, dada, and juice before any of his daycare peers. Marcus and Kay frequently high-fived each other with a "we're pretty awesome parents" retort. On Marcus Jr.'s second birthday, Kay was so happy to be taking him for his last set of shots for a while. Even though she had moved up the ranks at Tinks, she knew that her peers were giving her side glances whenever she needed time off to take Marcus to his appointments. 3 weeks after his final appointment, Kay got a call from daycare. The director was concerned that Marcus Jr. was not talking much and had banged his head on the floor at least 3 times that day. He was irritable and did not want to engage with his peers or staff. The director recommended that maybe Marcus Jr. had picked up a virus and was not feeling well. She advised Kay to pick him up and get him checked out. Kay immediately dropped everything and hurried to get her son. Marcus Jr. was indeed irritable and crying. Kay checked for a fever with the back of her hand on his forehead and it felt normal. She was able to get him in for a walk-in appointment, which was rare for Marcus Jr.'s pediatrician's office. Dr. Lawrence examined Marcus Jr. as he sat on Kay's lap, swatting at the doctor and wanting to be left alone. Dr. Lawrence examined Marcus Jr. without saying much. He wrote things down on his notepad and dipped his eyebrows with a look of great concern. Kay began to feel increasingly irritated and asked the doctor if she should be concerned. Dr. Lawrence drooped his stethoscope around his neck, put down his notepad, and leaned on his desk in a half-sitting, half-standing position. He took his glasses off and looked compassionately at Kay. "Are you familiar with autism?" Dr. Lawrence asked Kay. Kay's heart sank. She was indeed familiar with autism because her best friend from college's younger brother was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. But her friend's mother was an alcoholic, she was overweight and was divorced. Marcus couldn't possibly have autism because she and Marcus had done everything right.
So, what is autism? Well, according to experts, autism, or more specifically, autism spectrum disorders, are developmental disabilities characterized by significant social, communication, and behavioral changes. Often, people with ASD may communicate, interact, behave, and learn in ways that are different from neurotypical people. The learning, thinking, and problem solving abilities of people with ASD can range from highly gifted to severely impaired across multiple domains. ASD is described as a spectrum disorder because the needs of the individuals can range from minimal to very extensive. One individual, for example, with ASD, may need a lot of help in daily living, while others may need considerably less. Initially, pre 2010, a diagnosis of autism included several conditions that were diagnosed separately: autistic disorder, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, or in other words, abbreviated to PDD-NOS, and then we had Asperger's syndrome. These conditions are now included in the description of autism spectrum disorder and are all inclusive in the diagnosis. So, what are some of the signs and characteristics of ASD? Well, let's see. Typically, people with ASD often have problems with social, emotional, and communication skills. Some behaviors are characterized by repetitive motor actions or an unwillingness to transition between daily activities. Very often, people with ASD have different ways of learning, attending, and reacting to environmental stimuli. While the age of diagnosis may vary from child to child, typically parents will notice signs around the age of 18 months to 2 years. Keep tuning in as we dig a little deeper into the ASD, parenting, learning more about it. We're going to be talking about this for the next 6 sessions, 7 altogether. So stick with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.